Hello there, Di here. Today I'm showing you how I made a recent pop-up card for a family member who's having a birthday very soon. Haven't made a pop-up card for ages. I've got some good weight craft cardstock for the outside of the card, and I'm using some 110-pound Nina Solar White for the inside portion. Just checking there that the inside portion is small enough. And here's the silly photos. We did some peculiar poses and I took out the backgrounds in Photoshop, and here I'm just going around the fussy cut edges with a black pen to get rid of that white band. This is the inside portion. I'm just marking it up on the what will be the inside of that portion. It's 1.5 inches from each side and an inch deep, which I've just cut with my craft knife. And that is what's going, once it's folded, now I'm scoring it on the Martha Stewart scoreboard, scoring it just on that portion that I've marked with a pencil to give it a nice crisp straight score line on both sides, and scoring it the opposite way to the fold that will be in the middle. There it is, just persuading it to come through and giving it a good burnish with the Teflon bone folder. The crispness of the lines and the straightness of the cutting is what makes the pop-up card really look more professional. Just checking that it all fits and works, and temporarily adhering the little figures into that section to see how it's going to work. And obviously Pig needs to move up into that back section, and I can position the little figures closer together and put them on more of an angle with him up in the top. Just checking out how it works, how it looks as it's folding. I cut out some vellum balloons with my Simon Says stamp balloon die and tied the little strings around them just to make them look more like balloons. Popped Pig up on some pop dots. You have to be careful with how much dimension you're putting in, not to make it too much. Put him into position and realised his little paw was in the way, so rather than pull him off and bend him, I just trimmed it off. He felt no pain with that. I can assure you of that. Now I'm going to adhere the figures into position with some multi-matte medium. Need a good strong glue so they're not going to come off. I really wanted this card to be very, very silly. I normally make something different and a bit special, and this time I thought I'll make her a really, really plain card on the outside and she'll wonder what she's getting, and then we'll have a party going on the inside. Adhering those little vellum balloons down with some glue adhesive, putting them where I think they'll look best, and attaching the little cords in underneath Pig's glue dots, little pop dots, to get them out of the way. Now here's a banner I made on the computer with a font I like, and I was going to put it on plain, but I decided I'd put a bit of gold embossing just around the very edges. So I used the Versamark pad to do the long straight sides and the Versamark pen to get the sticky ink onto the little banner sections. Heating it up with the heat tool, and then I'll glue it into the card. It just puts a tiny little bit of glitz along the edge without adding anything to the dimension of the piece. Using Scotch Quick Dry to hold that into position, hiding the bottom edge of those figures. I hope it makes a laugh. Made me laugh making it. While that adheres down, I've got a little stamp from the Simon Says Stamp birthday balloons stamp set that says Thanks for having a birthday so we can have a party. Didn't quite get the tail of the Y completely done, so I'm just inking that in with a pen to make it look complete. There it is, that's the middle almost completed. Now I've got to glue it onto the outside portion of the card. But before I do that, I'm just going to put the plain little happy birthday die cut onto the front, and for that I'm using my broad Zig glue pen. This is the one I use for my brother's scan and cuts to get the mats nice and sticky again after I've used them a few thousand times. But it works very well for thin and delicate little die cuts, much easier than trying to get matte medium onto them. I just use a little bit of wax paper to adhere them on. Let that dry while I tidy up, and then we'll put the interior portion onto the cover using some Scotch Quick Dry. Just make sure you've got tops to tops here. You don't want to adhere it down and then find you've popped it onto the back. And also, as I pointed out just there, avoid that center section where the pop-up is. Avoid that like the plague. Don't put any adhesion on that, just all around it. Putting that into position on the card, sealing it down, and using my bone folder just to make sure that it's got completely pushed down all the way around the card. I don't want to get my sticky fingers on it. That's it, pretty much done. I did add a couple of other embellishments, some silly party hats and some stars. You'll see that in just a moment. I also made an envelope. Here it is, pretty envelope. And I cut a star for the front from the offcuts. And there it is, with the silly party hats and the glittery stars added. We just need to sign it now and it's done. So that's it. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.